Hey, what's up, guys? Happy Friday night. Do a quick one here. If you guys were 70s or, well, at least 80s kids, you probably remember arguing with someone your age on the playground at school about the difference between Gobots and Transformers. And I mean, I certainly do, and I was certainly a Gobot kid. I didn't get a lot of money. Transformers were kind of expensive, and plus most of my toy budget went to GI Joes. So, anyways, when there was an impulse to buy a Transformer at the store, usually what I got was a Gobot instead. And this is an example, and this is not totally a valid comparison because this is a Gobot you've probably seen before, and it transforms in about 4 or 5 steps. Pretty simple. Still cool in my opinion. I mean, I was happy to have these, and I'm kind of almost more nostalgic for this guy today than I am Transformers. But then you got something like this, which this is a more modern. There's just like a mid 2000s pretty fancy one. But anyways, this takes me about half an hour to fully transform because it's so complicated. So Transformer, Gobot. Anyways, I don't know if this is really a valid metaphor for what we're talking about here, but what you can see here behind the Transformers is Kyosho Turbo Optima. It's pretty stock, and you guys have seen this one before. Then you got the Great Vigor Beagle, sorry, Great Vigor Beagle, okay, which is an Optima or a Turbo Optima clone. And then actually this is a different one than the one I previously showed on the channel. That guy's over there with the crazy ugly body, still in the collection, but this one is totally stock, and apparently it could be the pro version, so it's actually got the correct shocks and all that kind of stuff. And then out there to the left of that one is something made by I believe Bluebird, and I know I'm getting that wrong. And all the these comparisons have been made before, but I just thought it was kind of interesting because on the surface they all look like they're pretty much the same thing, right? So if that was significantly cheaper than a Turbo Optima, then let's do it. And it's kind of surprising that some of the choices where I guess the designers or engineers or copycats decided to save money, cut costs, and where they didn't, it's interesting to me. Anyways, this guy you've seen a million times. You guys who watch vintage RC videos are all very familiar with the Turbo Optima. Probably not one as ugly as this. Aside from this silly body, this is basically a stock car. I think, yeah, this one still got the chain. These wheels, chrome wheels, may have been white with the standard kit, but otherwise, you got front and rear stabilizers, the gold shocks. That could be a motor you might see in this car, maybe something a little nicer. But yeah, that is a pretty stock, what about that, Turbo Ultima. All right. Yeah, so put that in your memory banks there, because we'll need you to remember what you saw. There will be a test at the end, a quiz. All right, so we'll move on to this guy. And from what I can gather, this is almost a one-to-one clone. I think really one of the main differences is the suspension arms, right? And I think I've mentioned this before. My other one has turbo Optima rears, I believe, or maybe fronts, and then it's got the great Vigor Beagle style. But yeah, really, and then maybe, yeah, we're missing this little cover here. Now, I don't know if this was meant to, the Beagle was meant to be more of a clone of the original Optima. Yeah, I guess maybe that's possible, that this was supposed to be more of an Optima clone versus a Turbo Optima. It doesn't have stabilizers. We do have a little motor guard, which I don't believe you get stock on either the Optima or Turbo Optima, so that's kind of a bonus there. But yeah, so that's this guy. And again, this is almost one-to-one. Some of these parts, in fact, a lot of these parts will fit on both cars, right? Even, and I'm not sure about this, but and others have pointed this out. Notice the Kyosho on the bumpers. Don't know if this came with the kit. A lot of people seem confused by this, or if this was something someone put on here later. This thing's never been run, I don't think, so I don't know why anyone would have needed to put a new bumper on. So anyhow, Beagle. Last, we'll look at this guy. And you know, I've seen them pop up on eBay lots of times. Finally, this one popped up, and it looked to have seen very little use, if any. And I thought, you know what? There's nothing else on eBay I'm really interested in at the moment, so let's pick this guy up. What you can see is you got a metal under tray here. It does have aluminum side rails also, but it doesn't, I don't believe, have the solid aluminum chassis rails like that guy there. Sorry, that's not, oh, that's not a good one to look at. But I don't believe it has those solid aluminum chassis rails. I think this has got more of a molded, not molded, but an aluminum tray style. And then this, you know, it's got some sidewalls on it. But again, I haven't taken it apart. But anyhow, it's a little different. Let's pop the body off of this thing. I like the body. The stickers are not on there, or decals are not on there real well. Sorry about that shaky camera there. I did a little cleanup on this body to get it to clear better so it can come off, but oh brother, not a bad body. Wish they hadn't painted the windows solid blue, but we'll keep it like it is. Some cool stickers on there. Arbro, right? That's pretty badass. I don't see those today. I'm not even sure if these are the original stickers for this kit or not. But they look cool. I like the colors. So now's where things get kind of interesting. I'll try to speed this up. It's already been a little while. One thing that kind of jumps out right away is these guys here, and they're molded on the shock or on the suspension arms, front suspension arms. I wasn't really sure what that was about. It almost looks like you could run one shock across there if you wanted to. I suppose that would work. You've got, instead of where you would screw in a stabilizer, you got these little molded balls that I guess you could pop on some kind of linkage to that, but I don't believe that's got anything to do with these guys. I could be wrong, but yeah. The gold shocks look the part. Be probably hard pressed to tell the difference between those and a pair of Kyosho golds. And it is possible that these are Kyosho golds, or maybe the Duratrax units. I'm not sure, but I don't know. I can't see anyone having felt the need to upgrade those for a car that never ran. This little guy is definitely different, and I kind of like that design. It gives you a place to screw that front bumper into from below, and not real sure if this is how this is supposed to go or not, because it looks like that screw hole isn't quite where it should be, so this thing's riding on top of those screws. That one looks all right, but then you kind of see these holes cut off here, so I'm not sure if this is the right unit or not. It looks the part and then it doesn't, so maybe one of you guys know. What else? Let's move. So chain drive again. This material here looks similar, although it's not black like you'd see on the Turbo Optima or the Beagle. It seems to be the same material, almost like a fiberglass material. The speed control is pretty slick. It looks like it has to be, or in this, the way they installed it, it needs to be secured to the top of the receiver so that this stays put and only the arm below moves. Never seen that before. Interesting, but yeah, a little sketchy. Maybe that's just how the owner decided to install it. Another thing is these rear uprights. Yeah, they use a lot of white plastic on the knuckles and the uprights there in front as well. Oh yeah, one thing to point out is I think this is bushed all around, no bearings, I don't believe. Yeah, one thing you might see right away is these. When I first saw it, I thought these arms were bent. I'm like, oh crap, what's wrong with this? But that is by design. Sorry for the light. It's kind of angles back. Let's take a, whoa! Sorry guys, that's horrible. Let's see how they do it on the Optima. The geometry is a little bit, or Turbo Optima, the geometry is a little bit different, but I'm not really sure why it was necessary to go with a bent arm. Not really jumping out at me right now, but anyways, that's how they did it. Now, the biggest, or in fact, the only letdown really for me is the rear gearbox. And it, although it does, you know, it's two pieces or whatever, this guy here, which would be bolted onto the side of the gearbox and would be in aluminum, an aluminum plate, it's just plastic. So check this out. the whole gearbox can just tweak, because that's all plastic. And to me, these gears look a little, maybe they're all right, but they look a little bit tweaked. You can tell this car's really never been run, or not very much, because there's like zero wear on those, maybe a little bit. Pinion looks pretty fresh, but yeah, I think that's really the only thing that kind of the only letdown there is that rear gearbox looks pretty weak. Don't know how long that would last if you're really running this car. Not sure what kind of motor that is. Need to pull that and clean it up. It's got a little decal on there. Something 480 Pro Series. Yeah, not sure if that came stock with the car or not, but anyways, going back, oh, check out that little resistor heat sink there. That's kind of sweet, actually. So again, I think what's maybe strange about this car is that maybe aside from this, they kept it pretty premium. It feels a little bit cheaper overall, but not really. I mean, maybe this would have been fine. And while my intention was to kind of say that this was the Gobot and this is a transformer, I'm not really sure if that analogy holds really. Maybe that's not fair to make. First of all, I don't know how much cheaper this was than an Optima, and in fact, it may not have been cheaper. I really don't know. And the Beagle as well. I have no idea what these things cost back in the day. So yeah, maybe the entire point of this video is kind of flawed from the start, but I did want to show you guys all three of them close together, and let me know if you're aware of there being perhaps a fourth clone or a fifth clone. I don't know if there are any more out there. These are the only two that I'm aware of currently, but if there's another one out there, yeah, let me know in the comments. But that's all I got for tonight. Hope you guys are all doing well. I'll see you in the next one. All right, take care.